Obviously, the big talk was him beating Yuri, and the way he did it was just incredible. But the big talk obviously was, man, this should have been the Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler came to speak to us, and he said, you know what? It is what it is. Some people are going to talk crap. They're going to be like, you're an idiot for waiting, but I'm waiting for this fight. And obviously, there's money implications for how big this fight could be. Obviously, when McGregor decides to, if he decides to come back, even Dana White, Gilbert, told us, I am not going to talk about Conor McGregor until Conor McGregor returns. So that's kind of saving themselves in a bit. Chandler did tell us that they're expecting big news this week about the Conor McGregor fight. So it'll be interesting to see if that actually happens or if he goes somewhere else. Somebody asked him, would you fight for the BMF belt? He said, I don't know if I qualify for it, but if they're willing to do it, I'll do it. So it's just interesting stuff all around. But obviously, the other big talk, Gilbert, was Alex Pereira and if he will be moving up to heavyweight. Dana White said he still has a lot to do where he's currently at right now. But a lot of people are talking about Jon Jones, Aspinall. They're talking about other fights that he could go up and do. Gilbert, what says you? Do you think he is ready, or do you think that Dana White is right and he should wait a little bit? But again, he is 36 years old.
Yep.
And at some point, that gas is going to run out of that tank, or the gas is going to run out of that tank. But he still looks like he's a long ways away from any of that. But what says you?
Yeah, so Dana White's kind of been, hesitant about it, and I know some reporters again would crap for like, hey, why aren't you into this? Usually you're okay with, fighters stepping up and going for a challenge and maximizing their potential. And I'm gonna go for what Dana White said to make a point for why he should fight at heavyweight. Dana White said, like, hey, he's not that young of a fighter anymore. You got to go all in, and when you have this momentum, go and get the best fights that you can. And the biggest fight that Alex Pereira can make, and even Jon Jones, is fighting each other to settle the debate between the best of the best, and or maybe even for legacy. Because if Alex Pereira gets a heavyweight title to go with his middleweight title, and also with the light heavyweight title, he becomes the first UFC fighter to get 3 belts in 3 divisions. So it'll be a lot on the line there. The storylines will write themselves, and it's becoming this thing where Alex Pereira is becoming like Mike Tyson-esque in UFC, where this guy's scary, this guy's dominant. Yeah, I know Alex Pereira lost to Adesanya not too long ago, and I brushed that aside because these guys fought each other twice in UFC, and I want to say multiple times in kickboxing. So when you're a 3-0 against Adesanya, that means, like, eventually you're gonna lose one to somebody that great. He recovered that quickly, and then he fought twice in 2 months. Fernando, he knocked out Jamal Hill, he knocked out Jiri. So the kicks, man, the punches. Yeah, he can't wrestle, but he is a dominant striker, and he strikes fears. And an opponent where opponents are saying, yeah, this guy's doing witchcraft, some black magic. Please don't use the spirits to fight against me. But putting all that aside, when you're this dominant and I think you already wiped out the division. Yeah, there's a couple guys out there you can maybe fight, but go test yourself. You're not a young pup anymore, young cat. You got all the momentum right now. Go to heavyweight. Hey, maybe Jon Jones wants to go. He wants to go fight Stipe. How about you go fight Tom Aspinall, and then the winner gets to fight Jon Jones? I get that Tom Aspinall is the interim heavyweight champion. He deserves to get that title shot. But if Jon Jones is fighting Stipe, why hold up the division and kind of have like a tournament? Why not let Alex Pereira go and be great?
By the way, for you folks that didn't hear what Dana White said, you should be following us on social media at Compas on the Beat. Here is what Dana White had to say when him and a reporter kind of got into it about Pereira going up to heavyweight and Jon Jones and all that.
No matter what you think of Jon Jones, he's the fucking best ever. And
I think he's the best ever. I agree.
He's the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world.
Well, except that he hasn't fought in the last year, so he's not.
Because he got hurt.
Right, but if you don't...
If you were coming into a fight and you fucking got hurt, that means you're not the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world anymore? How does that even make sense? It doesn't make sense.
When he fights...
Right? If he was sitting out and fucking getting arrested and running around or whatever, and you're like, well, Jon Jones is inactive, I'd say, maybe you're right, but as an educated adult who knows the fight business, you cannot deny that while Jon Jones is active, He is the greatest fighter in the world.
Did I not say that?
Yes. I don't know what you're arguing about here. I don't even know how we're in this conversation. Where are the helicopters when you need them?
By the way, for folks who don't understand that comment, there were some helicopters. There was a helicopter that kept on spinning around and going around, and Dana was getting frustrated. He's like, "Is this a joke? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, why is this happening?" So obviously, that's what he was talking about. Like, why couldn't the helicopters go in there and make some noise during that part? But yeah, Gilbert, it was the hot topic. I mean, not really. People didn't really talk about the fight all that much. It was more about what's next with Alex, and Dana even said, I think sometimes we need to sit back a little bit and be like, okay, there's more to do. There's more for him to do, and everybody just wants him to jump up to the next thing. So I agree. I do. Oh, Jorge, you think that he beats Jon Jones? Man, that's crazy. That would be interesting. Nobody's ever done it, so that'd be interesting. Aspinall, Gilbert, what do you think about this? Aspinall and Pereira.
That'd be great. It depends again, like who's more deserving of the fight. You know, people would say that Stipe is not deserving, but for some reason, Jon Jones wants to honor that fight. I get it. They had it signed and sealed, and he got hurt. That's in a way that's pretty honorable for Jon Jones to give Stipe his fight, but Stipe hasn't fought in 3 years, so I think it comes out to Pereira and Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is the interim heavyweight champion who's going to fight in Manchester, right? In the UK in a bit. But again, it's tough to say who it is. But the UFC is all about making money fights, man. And Fernando, I'm trying to figure out when they could do this fight. But first off, first things first, Jon Jones is talking about like possibly retiring and maybe not looking at all his options. So let's get this guy in the ring. I mean, the octagon first, just to figure out how many fights he has left. If he can fight Stipe and he's struggling out there, and maybe he is not the best of the best, or if he comes in and steamrolls Stipe, then it's gonna become Tom Aspinall or Alex Pereira, and he has a bunch of options.
You know what's crazy? Real quick, Nestor, do you think he'd go the Tank Davis route and be like, he'd put that, Jon Jones would put that in the contract? No no magic. Gilbert, this is what's interesting though. It's crazy because he gets asked about the UFC, like the fight that he just had right away. When are you coming back? Like, I think we jumped too much into that, and Alex even said, hey, I just fought twice in the last. What has it been in the last month and a half, 2 months, maybe?
April and June's 2 months, yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, I want to take a break, kind of chill out a bit, and then look at weigh all my options. So that's pretty interesting, the way how quickly everybody wants him. Okay, when are you going to get back in the ring? Or in the octagon. So it's definitely interesting. That's what his coach said. So did
just say Jerry.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Did Jerry's team give away their game plan with a video from the locker room that ended up on Instagram? That's what Pereira's coach said. He said that he did give it away. I think Alex said it once that he did give it away. So, and I think the coach said that's what you get for posting stuff on Instagram. These guys are watching everything. I mean, the teams are watching everything to see what trash the other team's talking. They're watching everything, so I'm very surprised that they.
Remember, Ian Machado Gary was accusing MVP that he was trying to get inside information from his camp. He was trying to talk to people from his camp or pay him.
Your team is in my DMs.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess people are always looking for little ways to get an advantage.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of crossing the line, though.
But it's not against the rules, according to Ian. He was breaking it down. He wants to become a rule.
But it's just it's interesting to see what they're kind of doing. But Gilbert, real quick, Diego Lopez, that was madness. We were sitting there, and it was about what, Gilbert, like 4:30, almost 5. The prelims had just started.
Yeah,
and they announced that Ortega was not going to fight, and it was going to be, and that Diego, they didn't know what they were going to do with Diego Lopez. Then his name is Danny Ige. Danny Ige. Yeah, Danny Ige. That he came out and he's like, hey, I'm at a massage. I'm getting a massage, but I'm willing to go down there and beat him. The crazy part is Diego Lopez was offered his money to not fight. Like they told him, hey, we'll still pay you if you don't fight. And Diego said, no, I want to fight. And he had to jump up. What was it, Gilbert? He was at 145 and 300. He jumped up to 155, and then the fight ended up being at 165, I think, if I'm correct. That's 20 pounds in 2 months. Again, Diego Lopez fought at 300 also. So so to see him make that jump is incredible. He dominated the first 2 rounds of the fight. In the third, Gilbert and I were kind of talking about it, looking like he got a little bit gassed in that. And there was even one where Daniel Cormier is like, "What are you doing? Why are you like, just relax, ease it out, and you're gonna win this game." So, or this fight. So it was just funny. But what did you make of Diego Lopez and the whole commotion, Gilbert? Because 3 hours or 4 hours before the fight, they find him a new opponent and they're willing to step up. I don't think we'd ever seen, like, this isn't WWE, obviously. This is something completely different. What did you make of it?
The one thing I do appreciate about the UFC, and obviously I have my different kind of opinions about the UFC kind of controlling everything. You know, boxing for the fighters, you can make more money because there's more bidding for your services. There's, you know, five or six different promotional companies, but for the UFC to have everything in house, this is one of the benefits. When things fall apart, go call somebody else or call that person or that person, because you have so many star power in your stable. And a lot of people live in Las Vegas. That was a perk about having that fight in Las Vegas. You could say, okay, I want to say, Fernando, that might have been the 5th time technically that fight was changed, because there was 2 Jamal Hill fights, and then it became Diego Lopez and Brian Ortega, and then obviously you got Dan Ige. So,
no, and then you changed the weight. Remember, he wasn't able to make weight, so that there was 5 changes to that card.
It's a lot of shuffling going on, and the good thing for the UFC is like they have so many notable names in their stable and people that live in Las Vegas and guys who are willing to fight like on short notice. Like, I don't know if I see that too much in boxing. Like, okay, how much time to have? 2 weeks? Nah, forget that, because a lot of people want to protect their it's the Floyd Mayweather mentality. Well, I got to be undefeated to be a star in boxing. UFC, they don't give a crap. And, you know, credit for Diego Lopez for saying, you know what, I've gone through weight changes and I changed an opponent in 4 hours. You're kind of like, especially he was on the rise to stardom, and to take a dangerous fight like that and not preparing for the guy. And he said, yeah, that's awesome to see. And then Dan Ige, who had another fight in 3 weeks, he could easily have been like, you know what, I got another fight to get ready for. I don't care. And he said, no, I'm gonna go save this card and, you know, get a little cash here, and then also build this profile. So there was benefits all around, but just see people do it, and you know, it's kind of like I don't know if you've been watching this, Fernando. America's Sweethearts, Netflix documentary about the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, where they don't get paid much, but they do it out of passion, where they break her hips and stuff like that. It's actually a pretty interesting documentary.
MJ's in it, isn't she?
She is. I haven't seen. Well, I haven't been fully watching, but I've been watching every episode now and then, because Caroline's been watching. It's like kind of pop in. Like, it's actually interesting.
I think MJ's in it.
Okay,
Friend of the show.
I gotta check it out. But anyways,
I think she's one of the judges.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, the point is, the point is they do it to chase their dreams, and they're passionate, and obviously you want to get paid. But in UFC, people keep doing it over and over again, just doing all these kind of, you know what, F it. So I do appreciate that. I do admire that. And, you know, Dan Ige and Diego Lopez saved that card. And also, obviously, the domination of Alex Pereira also saved it too. But you mentioned to start the show, Fernando, it was supposed to be Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor, and we still had a good card.
That's why Diego Lopez came out and said, hey, I want a top 5 fighter now. Like, I'm done. Like, I came in and I did everything that you guys wanted on short notice. I'm here. I just beat a guy that I knew I was going to fight for, put some respect on my name, and I want a top 5 fight. So I think he's earned it. I think if UFC plays their cards right, I think they have another star in their on their hands, because one, he's Brazilian, but he lives in Mexico. So that's 2 different regions that love him and that obviously respect. Well, I know Mexico does, but I don't know much about Brazil, because obviously I'm not connected down there. But it seems like they have another star on their hands, so that's going to be interesting. Real quick, just your thoughts. Michael Chandler, smart, dumb, waiting for Conor? Is it like waiting to, I don't know, it's like this, your boyfriend's cheated on you multiple times, and you're waiting for him to finally propose, and he's not proposing. So what are you doing, Gilbert? Are you breaking up, or are you waiting and hoping that he will finally propose?
Well, first of all, let me know if my wife is okay. But yeah, I feel for Michael Chandler, because, like, what do you do, man? Like, you've been waiting for this fight to just get signed, and it took about 1.5 years, maybe almost 2 years. Then you finally sign and you finally train, and then it's 2 weeks before the fight, and he pulls out. Then you see all these videos of Conor McGregor partying and doing whatever, and then supposedly he got hurt, and you don't know how the extent of the injury. So
getting some hot tua on his boat.
Who knows? I'm tired of that, by the way.
So
Those jokes are getting tiring.
Yeah.
But it's like, do you want the payday? But also at the same time, the more time you go, you're costing yourself. Like maybe he could have fought maybe 3 times in that span, and maybe that's the same payday, or maybe not. When you fight
He
Conor
said
McGregor.
since last January, Gilbert. Since last January, this is being talked about.
So honestly, if he gets that BMF fight with Max Holloway, I say just do it. That's a high profile fight. You know, I'm sure you'll get half the money you get for fighting Conor McGregor, but like you're not young, you know, you got to keep waiting for the guy. So I don't know. I if something that attractive comes along as a backup, I will do it.
No, I completely agree. And the thing is that, like you said, and Dana even said it, this waits for nobody. I mean, at one point, you're going to be like, crap, maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have done that. You don't want the coulda, woulda, shouldas. So I completely agree. I think he needs to take I think he should just take whatever comes next for him. You can't keep on doing it already. Like, go ahead and take off and do it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Is Islam a possibility for Chandler?
I don't know if Chandler's considered like a champion or title fight contender, and maybe he'll skip the line for waiting, and that's kind of like the perk for waiting for Conor McGregor. But I'm sure a lot of people in the lightweight division will not be happy about that. But and also Islam, I think, will probably destroy Chandler.
By the way, I think I think Dustin just came out and said he wants one more fight. He said the last dance, let him know. And I think somebody asked him about facing Islam, and he said he'd be down to do it, but then Islam said no chance or something like that. I think it was Islam. I can't remember. But I don't know. We'll see what happens, but definitely interesting to see that he said he has one more fight.
I was hoping Islam would fight the Armenian fighter who got into the fight with the fan, but then he got suspended for like 9 months. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, that's what he said. He said if Armand can't go, I'll take Islam. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
and
I was
Islam
hoping
said
to see that one. That'd be a pretty entertaining fight. But yeah, he got suspended.
You know what? We forgot to ask Dana why he suspended. Like, I get it, but at the same time, it's kind of like,
that's a long suspension.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a lot, especially because that guy was already talking about a title fight and wanting to fight in Madrid against I forgot his name. I can't remember, but
Topuria.
Topuria. Yeah, there you go.